Can you guess what the average household in America spends on groceries every single month? $475.25. That works out to $5,700 a year on groceries. That is a ton of money. Personally, I can say my wife and I have been spending more and more recently, and for a lot of people I know, including myself, it is one of the top expenses in the budget. Groceries are an essential, and if you have to spend the money anyways, why not make sure you're maximizing every single dollar you spend in terms of rewards or cash back? That's what we're focusing on today. I'm gonna run through the absolute best grocery cards of 2025 and go through the options so you can see if there's a better option out there for you than what you're currently using. Listen, when it comes to grocery cards, you have options, and that means we have a lot to cover in today's video. Here's what the guide is gonna look like. For each credit card, I'm gonna show you 3 specific things. First, the annual fee, if there is one, and also the earning rates on groceries with that credit card. Second, the welcome bonus that you'd get from signing up for the card. And number 3, most importantly, the total rewards earnings on the card. If a card earns points and miles that can be used for travel, I'll take the points guy valuations and assume that you're gonna be able to maximize those rewards to show you what you'd get from just grocery spend on that card in 1 year. But there are 2 rules when it comes to the list. First of all, any card that earns below 3x or 3% back on groceries, I'm just not gonna talk about because there are so many top tier cards to look at that we don't have time for anything less than getting you 3% back. Second, any card that earns currency or rewards that can only be redeemed at one merchant, those are too niche, and I wanna give you options for your grocery card for how you can actually spend or redeem the rewards you're getting. However, at the end of the video, I will run through a few honorable mentions that don't fit these rules perfectly, but maybe a really cool find for a few specific people watching this today. Let's jump into the first category for the best grocery cards out there, and that's gonna be our cash back earning cards. These cards are going to be great for people who wanna keep their wallet set up very simple and don't really have a big desire to use their credit card rewards to travel, maybe more than once or twice every few years. Starting with the card that pays out the least in this first cashback category is the Venmo credit card. This is a flexible choice if you're big on digital wallets and also like to use Venmo. The card has a $0 annual fee and earns 3% back on your top spending category. Of course, depending on how you like to use this card, that category could be groceries. While it's got that strong uncapped earning rate, a big downside of this credit card is that it has absolutely no welcome bonus, which is why it ranks overall so low on this list. Using the average American household's grocery spend of $5,700 a year, this card is gonna earn $171 in cashback value for you in that year time period. It's not bad, but it's not crazy impressive either, especially when you see some of the other cards on this list. I will say that this card does include wholesale clubs and stores like Walmart and Target in its grocery category. So if you happen to do a lot of your grocery shopping there, this card could be a great way to go. Let's move up a level to the American Express Blue Cash Everyday card. This is another good option for groceries, especially for those who are annual fee adverse. The card doesn't have one and it earns 3% cash back on up to the first $6,000 of spend in a year, and then after that earns 1% cash back. This is the first spending cap we've encountered on this list, and fortunately, the $6,000 cap, that does include the average American family spend in a typical year, so there's no need to worry in that case about going over the cap here. This card beats out the Venmo credit card because it does offer a $200 cash welcome bonus. With that, your year 1 earnings comes to $371.09. Like a lot of cards on this list, the spending cap will be okay for some, but for others who go above the average, you're going to need a better card. So stay tuned for others on this list with great earnings, but no spending cap whatsoever. Next up is the Capital One Saver Cash Rewards card. You may have seen a community post put out by me announcing the launch of the new card art and a few different changes Capital One made to this card. Fortunately, it's been a solid credit card in my opinion, and not much of the fundamental nature about what this card earns has changed. But They did get a refreshed design and a slightly higher welcome bonus. This card has no annual fee and earns 3% cash back on groceries with absolutely no cap on how much you spend each year. The welcome bonus is $250 back. This is the highest bonus that I've personally seen on this card and is going to be available for what looks to be a limited time. So if you're interested in adding it to your wallet, you may want to consider that decision sooner rather than later. I will say, if you decide to go for this card or any of the other ones on this list, consider using the link down in the description below. It is the best way to show appreciation for the videos that I put out weekly, as well as benefit the channel so I can continue making this content for free. With the welcome bonus and the 3% cash back, the card is going to earn $421.09 in the first year. It's exciting to break through the $400 return on your spend level. And this card could get even better if paired with the Capital One Venture X, because you can take that cash back, convert it into miles, and then redeem the points with that card for even more value. I recently just did a video on this exact combo and how that works well together, so check that out after you're done with this one if you want to see more. Let's talk about the next card on the list, going a step higher in total earnings, and that is the Citi Custom Cash. The Custom Cash has no annual fee, and it earns 5% back on your top category of spend, which is assigned automatically up to the first $500 spent every single month in that category. After you cross that spending cap, your earnings redemption rate drops down to 1% cash back. Of course, groceries is one of those categories that's available. The card gets you a $200 welcome bonus after spending $1,500 in the first 6 months. That puts the year one earnings at $485.15. Last but not least, the king of the cashback category is the American Express Blue Cash Preferred. The Blue Cash Preferred has a $0 intro annual fee for the first year, and then after that, you're charged a $95 annual fee to carry the card. However, this card earns 6% back in grocery spend up to the first $6,000 in a calendar year. After that, it drops down to 1% back. The card has a welcome bonus of $250, and you can achieve that after spending $3,000 on the card in the first 6 months. The year one earnings land just below $500 because this card comes in at $497.18. Keep in mind for this calculation, I did put that $95 annual fee in there just because I wanted to make it a little bit more realistic as to what to expect if you're holding this card year after year after year and using it for groceries. Regardless, it's still capped out as the highest card in the cashback category for what you can actually earn on your grocery spend. All right, we're back and we're transitioning now into credit cards that earn you points and miles instead of just cash back. Now, before we jump into this category, I want to encourage you that if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, or if you think that you're interested in credit card content to help optimize your finances, think about subscribing to the channel because at least once a week, I post videos exactly focused around that topic. Now, for anyone who wants to take their credit card spending and turn that into rewards for team travel, listen up, this is the category for you. But I will warn you, it's about to get a lot more complicated. Most all of these top earning travel cards that can be used for high earnings on groceries also come with annual fees and other benefits to help offset those. So there's a lot more here for each card than just grocery spending and what you can get back on that. I'm going to stay focused on groceries here in this video, but do your research into each card because some of the earnings rates and what you can get out of them are really far and away what any other credit card out there has to offer. Let's start with the US Bank Altitude Reserve, which has a little bit of a unique approach on earnings categories compared to some other credit cards out there. This card has a $400 annual fee, and it earns you 3x on mobile wallet purchases, which of course can be used for checkout at grocery stores. It's got a welcome bonus of 50,000 points after you spend $4,500 on the card in the first 3 months. That brings its year one earnings from the welcome bonus and the grocery spend you get to $606.64. A few quick things to note though. First of all, we're valuing the points that you get at 1.5 cents each because you can take advantage of real-time rewards. And that's an elevated value that you can get despite US Bank not having any transfer partners to send those points out to. I'm not going to talk about the other earnings categories or benefits, but make sure to look into those because those could really boost the earnings you get and bring down that effective annual fee that you're paying to hold this card. The next card on the list, a step up in total value you can get back, is a controversial favorite of many out there, and that is the Gold Card from American Express. The Gold Card now has a $325 annual fee, and of course it earns you 4x back in grocery spend. That spend has a cap of $25,000 a year, meaning for most people it's technically an uncapped card, but talk to me if you're spending over $25,000 a year in groceries. I'd just love to hear your story personally. The Gold Card has a standard welcome bonus of 60,000 points after spending $6,000 in the first 6 months. However, I encourage you to check the link down below when you're watching this video because Amex has constantly been playing with that welcome bonus and sometimes targeting unique people in different areas of the country for much higher offers. Your year one earnings on the card has blasted past $1,000, and with this card, you can expect to earn $1,431 in the first year. That's because membership rewards points, according to the points guy, can have a value of up to 2 cents per point. Similar to the Altitude Reserve, this card has a ton of other credits and benefits. For some people, it's going to be an absolute incredible card that will feel like a steal once you have it, while for other people, it's going to be harder to take advantage of those same credits and benefits. Next up is the single highest earning year one grocery card in the points and miles category, and that card is the Citi Strata Premier Card. This is the one you've been waiting for, and I'm going to bet it's not the card you thought would occupy the #1 spot on this list when you first opened the video. This card has a $95 annual fee and earns 3x back on groceries. It has a fairly standard welcome bonus of 75,000 points. And that's after you spend $4,000 in the first 3 months holding the card. Now those year one earnings with the annual fee included come out to $1,562.96. That's with Citi thank you points being valued at 1.8 cents per point by the points guy. Can you believe that? Almost $16,000 in value from year one earnings and the welcome bonus, with no category spending, no spending caps, and really just one simple card to manage. Just sticking to the same routine that you already do, but optimizing your credit card towards the Strata Premier, that could create so much more value in your life year after year after year compared to what you potentially are using right now in your wallet setup. Now, before we wrap up this video, I want to go rapid fire through a few honorable mentions. Some of these cards are really crazy in that they earn super high rewards, but they can only be redeemed a certain way, or they have unique quirks or only apply to very specific people, but I want to go through them for you right now. The first card is the Kroger Rewards World Elite MasterCard. It earns 5% back on mobile wallet purchases within Kroger grocery stores. It's a $0 annual fee card with a $100 welcome bonus, but, and here's the big catch, rewards can only be redeemed within Kroger grocery stores, thus disqualifying it from our top cards list. Next is the Amazon Prime Visa. This card is worth calling out because it earns 5% back at Whole Foods and Amazon Fresh if you also subscribe for a Prime membership. It's a bit of a favorite because of its other earnings categories and technically $0 annual fee, but to get the boosted 5%, you have to have a Prime membership, so you may value that differently in your own life. Another card I've noticed that has a really niche cult following is the AAA Daily Advantage card. This card earns 5% back on groceries, but believe it or not, the card is actually geofenced, meaning some people in certain areas of the country are going to be able to see the card and apply and get it, but other people will see a different version of the card with potentially lower earnings rates. Because all of that is really complicated and most people aren't going to get this card, it's an honorable mention, but please let me know down below in the comments if you actually have and use this card yourself. The Verizon Visa card also deserves a spot in the honorable mentions, earning 4% back on grocery spend, but you can only use your rewards to pay off your Verizon bill, thus disqualifying it. Finally, US Bank has the Shopper card, which gets you 6% back on 2 categories of retailers, one of which could be grocery stores, up to $1,500 every quarter in spend total. Okay, so I told you there were plenty of options, and I think after seeing this video, you hopefully will find a card that is right for you. I just want to leave you with one thought. If you optimized your grocery spending for the next year, you can already see based on this video how much that would earn you back. But imagine one simple change making a difference year after year after year, and not even having to think about it or managing things differently. If you like this list, give the video a thumbs up, and if you're still feeling confused, I do offer a credit card consulting with the link down below in the description, so you can talk to me for free there about your individual situation. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.